What's up, everybody? This is Francisco with another educational video. This is for educational purposes. So it's really important, man. The legend Dr. Sebi left us with a lot of stuff, and Minister Inky has just blew it to pieces. He's dug deep in it, and he's made simplified it to us and broke it down to us, because if you didn't notice, Dr. Sebi, he never really went in on a lot of stuff. He would just talk about electric food and how mucus is destroying our bodies. So Minister Inky makes sense of a lot of things that you didn't know or you weren't sure about. So let's get into Minister Inky. This is Minister Inky, Black Men Are Endangered Species. What is xenoestrogen? Rigor mortis, Charlotte.
Process. This is not only the process of what goes on in low glucose situations. And when do we have low glucose situations? When we work out and when we fast. We work out and when we fast. Your CRP complex builds itself up. That means you have increased melanin production, increased melanocyte activity, and you have the beginnings for Lux gene activation. Alright? The beginnings. Alright? So all this stuff will be in your book. This goes over the 8 essential essential sugars. Right? And once I have my way with these sugars, probably in class we'll go a little bit deeper. We're gonna break that down probably like 5. Because book's still out. Judgment's still out on these 3 right here. We'll work on those. But for now, these are the 8 essential sugars that we need. And no one even says this. These are your basic things. Each one of your cells has to have these sugars on them to create the outer coating of your cell membrane. If that doesn't happen, none of your cells can communicate. That's the groundwork for cancer. Alright? Look at this word up here. Doesn't this look like this comes right from the lactose? No? The lactidol, a food or herb or substance that will increase breast milk. Why is this the root? Because this is the richest source, breast milk, of this guy. If that's the case, then we have to say to ourselves, why is this the richest source, richest sugar in breast milk? That's the reason. Alright? So, all of our ladies, sisters, we're trying to get that breast milk correct. These are the things that you want to do. And we don't want to wait till we're pregnant to deal with these things. We do not want to wait till we're pregnant to deal with these things. Alright? Our priority level is upside down. It's on its head. We talk about earlier on in the book how many children of ours now are in a situation where they didn't get breastfed and they didn't even come down the canal. C-section babies that are not breastfed. I'm going to need those to be labeled. I'm pushing for the new movement. I kid you not. Genetically modified niggers. I need them labeled and identified. I'm going to need them labeled and identified. Because I do not want my organic, all natural 100% baby to get with your genetically modified nigga, and then now all my work done went down the drain because I got half and half. No. We need to identify the GMNs. GMNs. They are running around rampant. If you don't think that's a problem, you really don't understand genetic modification. Alright? Single nucleotide polymorphism. Right? That's in the book, it's in the other class, we did it. We don't have to go back. All right? Irreducible complexity. All right. Yeah, I have to bring attention here for a second because it's a biology is not just the only difference between us and other types of people. Now, the biology is the root, and that's what you got to understand. The biology dictates how everything else functions, including your brain and your thought processes. So, a different biology, we're going to have a different set of preferences, right? So, this for me is not cool. I'm not cool with that. My ancestors were not cool with that. Coffin text 184, not to eat feces in the realm of the dead. Right? Not to walk upside down. Right? Make sure you have power over water and air. Go forth into the day. Now this whole thing right here is super prophetic. Right? Not to eat feces in the realm of the dead. So that means the time when this was ink, pen, papyrus, etched in stone, they knew a time would come when you would start to eat feces in the realm of the dead. Who are the realm of the dead? Who were the dead walkers at that time? These folks. They knew they were coming into power. Right? But they told you, don't eat feces, because this is what these folks is all about. Oh, well, Minister Inky, I've never walked into a supermarket and seen prophylactics filled with feces with a price tag on it. That's cool. But if you bought packaged meat, every single packaged meat has doodle in it. Every single one. Every single one. Check it out. Look it up. FDA approves. For every package of meat you purchase, 3 to 5 rat droppings in there. As long as it's only 3 to 5 rat droppings, you're cool in your meat. In your wheat, the same thing. All of your bread products, it's the same. There's doodle in it. Your peanut butters, your jar stuff. There's doodle in there. Look it up. Guanylite. My daughter came home and was like, Dad, you know what guanylite is? You should use that at your lecture. I was like, she's like, no, Daddy, you need this. It's in the potato chips. It's bat duty. My teacher just told me about it. I was like, what? Sure enough, I looked it up. I said, it's the bat shit in the potato chips. What do I do? Feeding duty to babies too. You can look it up.
You're talking about packaged meat, but what about grass-fed meat? Is that like the same thing?
Well, you talking about the way the meat is fed, but it's the packaging that where the feces part comes in. So, are we getting the meat like unpackaged, or are we getting it packaged? If it's packaged, grand opening, grand closing. You have a great, healthy animal packaged in duty. Because you got to think, the meat places where they make the meat, they're running through thousands and thousands of tons of meat in there. They cannot keep the rats out. They cannot keep the rats out of the facility. 5 o'clock, when that facility shuts down, and the last human leaves, tens of thousands of rats overwhelms those facilities. They even in all the vats and all that at night. So when they turn the machines on in the morning, the first thing they blending up with your meat is rats and mice and all that. And they knows that. That's a part of the business. Look it up. Along with fingers, hands, and all that. Because if I got 1,000 pounds of meat and I got somebody just brand new on that junk and he nick himself, we're not getting ready to throw away no 10,000 pounds of meat because you done nicked yourself. Brother, there's blood all through there. It's fine. We're going to put that ammonia in there and everything is going to be all right.
Alright, so I just wanted to stop right there because I wanted to show you. And in a lot of the videos, he shows you about the feces in our food and approval by the FDA. So let's go ahead. Now we're going to get into Brother Polite and Minister Inky discusses hip hop drugs and alchemy.
Who doing drugs and succeeding and excelling at their arts. You got people talking about Basquiat and art, then you say, wait a minute, this dude was fucking with drugs. So, we're taught intellectually, don't fuck with drugs, but then we say, wait a minute, they're fucking with drugs and they're getting results. So the youth are saying, well, let me experiment with the drugs. Now, two brothers, I know Polite said he doesn't smoke or drink. I don't know about Inky. I want to get your opinion on drugs and its impact on creativity, manifestation, and I want y'all to be real with me. Because the scholars, they have to say things for moral purposes, but talk to the youth because they're watching something else happen. The millionaires are fucking with drugs. Now, I'm not saying it's benefiting them in their health. I'm not saying it's causing them to die, it's not causing them to die at an early age, but the youth want to hear a different perspective on drugs, on lean, on cocaine. You say you got the world's attention. Tell me about drugs' impact on creativity and all of the stuff that I just talked about. And is it negative? Is it positive? Is it both? Talk to me, y'all.
Well, let me say this. Before I defer to my brother real quick, we are the perfect tool to expound on this for you. Why? Because I have experimented with getting high and getting drunk. I've never seen him put anything to his lips or his mouth or his lungs, ever. He always looks like this. Even in the club, he looks like this. So you will get both perspectives from us right now.
No doubt. So what I will say is I do take some red wine from time to time. I do, just to put it on deck. Other than that, you're not going to see nothing in my mouth like that. Not no, not no liquor and shit like that. You're not going to see that. But I don't condemn brothers who indulge in the liquors and some of the drugs that they're using. I personally believe that some of these drugs help many people transcend. I just think people are abusing these drugs. Secondly, I just don't trust not so much the drug dealer, but where the drug dealer may be getting those drugs. Once it gets popular, I get uncomfortable and I don't want to risk an opportunity of losing my mind to the drug game. However, I personally believe that since times of old, our ancestors was using what is now being called drugs to their better advantage. I believe some of the prophecies and some of the beings that they was bearing witness to came by way of them using what I would like to call herbs that in these modern day times are being called drugs for the purposes of undermining the metaphysical effects that these elements have on the human psyche and experience. So what I'm going to tell you is this. I'm not in a place to experiment with drugs, but I believe I'm probably using drugs. And as far as the fact that I'm using herbs, and the base for a beat or the inception of every hip-hop beat starts with the drum. And that drum in an analogy can be reminiscent to that of the herbs. The basis for creating what they're calling drugs, pharmaceuticals, the basis for what they're calling pharmaceuticals is the herbs. Now, what I'm going to tell you is this. It's not fair to condemn a lot of the brothers for using drugs, because now we have to see who's the biggest drug dealer on the planet and understand a lot of what he's selling as pharmaceuticals are really the drugs. And a lot of what the brothers are using as the drugs are really the pharmaceuticals. But now let's go into the words now. If you go to Rite Aid, it tells you what? R-I-T-E. R-I-T-E is a ritual. If that was the right aid, it'd be R-I-G-H-T. But for some reason, we got traffic stopping. For some reason, they're spelling it R-I-T-E, which means ritual. Then pharmacy comes from the Greek word pharmakeia, which means sorcery. Even in the Bible, the word for sorcery.
So, overstand This is sorcery. They use word manipulation. You gotta understand it's black magic, sorcery, all this other stuff. So you gotta focus and try to pick up on these things, because it runs your whole life and you don't even understand it.
Sorcery comes from the word pharmacy. So, if you look up that word for sorcery in the Bible, it's pharmakeia, which is the root word for pharmacy, which is Greek. So we see now the Rite Aid pharmacy is the ritual that has the aid in the ritual is the sorcery being employed when you use the drugs. So again, pharmacy means sorcery, and rite, as in Rite Aid, means ritual. So rituals go hand in hand with sorcery, last time I checked. So the first thing we gotta rectify is the sorcerer or the pharmacist doesn't have the right to tell other people they shouldn't do drugs. That's the first thing we have to speak about. So the pharmacist doesn't have a say in the drug matter. Now, I don't believe marijuana is a bad drug until the beast gets his hands on the marijuana. I also believe, to preference, we should have smoked something before we take it in as a liquid or boil it as a tea, or even consume it in a normal way. However, not all smoking is a form of smoking has medicinal effects as well when you're talking about marijuana. However, your approach towards taking a thing has to be predicated upon what your body can endure and in what intervals. And that's where we have to talk about abuse again. Are you just taking the drug just to feel all right?